What's up, fellas? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the latest movie, Coke Bear, or White Powdered Sugar Bear, as I like to call it. The movie is based on the true story of a bear in the woods in 1985 that found some magic white powder and took as many big sniffs as it could until it overdosed, collapsed, and died. People found it, stuffed it, and left it out for people to pay money to see it. But when Hollywood got a hold of this story, and that's all pretty much said, like any spoilers, to you guys, this will be a spoiler-free review. Now, come on, we're talking about a movie called Coke Bear. What are you expecting? When I first heard that this movie was coming out and that they were going to try to make it about a bear killing people on a killing spree, I thought, okay, go for it. That sounds like a good time. Then the trailer came out, and even though I thought it was a lot of fun, some people were disappointed with the direction. They wanted the bear to be treated like a crazy monster and the movie to be a straight-up horror movie with maybe some funny parts. And while that could have been interesting, or kind of cool to see where they went, the horror comedy route of just going full ridiculous with its premise worked so well for me. I wasn't expecting much going into White Powdered Sugar Bear. I really just wanted it to entertain me, make me laugh a couple of times, and maybe show me some cool kills here and there, but that was about it. I just thought it would be a good little time waster, but I ended up having a lot more fun than The director of this movie, Elizabeth Banks, gets the humor right, or at least has a style of humor that I really like. The movie is set again in the 1980s, and they do a good job when they can of showing off the 80s style, from the music to the clothes to the fact that many of the characters have a southern accent that is kind of comforting and warming to hear on screen. She found a good balance between having ridiculously stupid characters and going too far in the direction of just watching stupid people do stupid things and saying, this movie is so stupid. Because what ends up happening is that, yes, you will say, oh my God, that's so stupid. But you will also enjoy that level of stupidity they're showing you in a fun way because the movie is in on the joke too. Right now, I'll tell you. There are so many characters in Coke Bear that it might be one of the movie's flaws. There are about 4 or 5 different storylines going on at the same time, and they all have something to do with this Coke Bear that is just running around the woods. When you have a situation like that where you're cutting back and forth to different people's stories and different things that are going on, you're about to have a storyline here and a story. I didn't find a storyline that I didn't want to go back to where I thought, oh no, we're following these people now? Let's go back to the other storyline. I enjoyed all of them, but many of them stood out for me. I was surprised by how many people I liked in this book. Isaiah Whitlock plays a cop who is trying to figure out why there is coke in the woods, while also dealing with the fact that he just got a new dog at home. A park ranger has a crush on an inspector and is just trying to get laid. But surprisingly, my favorite pairing is with 2 little kids played by Brooklyn Prince and Christian Convery in Hollywood. I think it's hard to find more than 2 child actors who are just good enough for the big screen. It's even harder to find 2 little kids who are both funny and have great chemistry with each other. These 2 kids are friends, and when they find a brick of white powder, their curiosity goes through the roof. This leads to a lot of funny jokes on screen. I even really appreciated the way they kind of handled the bear in here, because it could have so easily have been a situation where the bear is the bad guy. You know, it's this creature, it starts sniffing this stuff, and it starts killing people pretty gruesomely. We're going to get to that. But since the movie is all over the place with all his characters and all its storylines, there's an argument to be made here that the bear can be considered the main character of the movie, and you kind of build this lovable attachment to it as you see it go from powder to powder. And I thought that was kind of an ingenious way to pull it off. So when we got to the part that got the audience laughing and clapping for the first quarter of the movie, I was worried that they were going to do a lot of cutaway kills, where the bear kills someone off screen and you just hear their screams of pain. That was kind of a bummer, but then somewhere in the middle of the movie, all bets were off and you started seeing this bear get really gruesome. Granted, a lot of it is like CGI and digital effects. I don't think there was a lot of practical stuff in here. There is some, but the gory deaths are handled in such a fun and exciting way that you can't help but laugh and clap at them like when you watch the movie. My favorite one had to be the whole scene with the ambulance drivers. You can see a little bit of it in the trailers where the bears are just chasing after that thing. The scene that follows had my audience dying. Now, if I want to look at the flip side and be fair, because it's not a perfect movie, it is just there to entertain and have a good time, which makes me feel a little unnecessary to nitpick it. but there are going to be people who want to nitpick. So, one, the CGI, like I was mentioning at times, the bear looks great. It looks really good. And then other times it looks a little wonky, and then you mix it in with some of the CGI blood or limbs flying out. It can be a slight annoyance. I'll agree also that sometimes the bear isn't on screen as much as it should, maybe again going back to that CGI issue. But you'll go through long stretches of the movie where they tease the bears about attack somebody, and then you won't see that character again for another, 20 minutes. And that includes the bear, also. So there are slight slumps in the entertainment while they build you up for the next gory kill. Also, while I really like Ray Liotta in this, rest in peace, the movie starts to focus a lot on his story in the third act, and it just wasn't that interesting. By that point, you had already seen so many great, entertaining things that the Coke Bear could do that you weren't that interested in this mobster drug-dealing storyline. But like I said, these are just small things you could complain about if you really wanted to. Elizabeth Banks and other creative people who worked on this movie have already joked about a sequel and the cinematic universe they could make with all these different animals. This is because they recently found Coke in the ocean, which lets them pull off the Hollywood exaggerated true story tag again with the Coke shark. If they are all as entertaining as they are in this movie, give me that cinematic universe with marijuana monkeys, heroin hippos, and Coke sharks, and I will watch it all. I'm going to give it a B+ for why Powdered Sugar Bear is the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. I was there all of 2023, and that's reason enough to add it to your collection at home. Yes, like I said, I just wanted to have some silly fun, but it gave me more than that. Let me know what you guys thought about Coke Bear. If you went to see it, are you interested in this movie? What did you think worked? What do you think didn't work? We'd love to hear it all down below. Don't forget to subscribe, but as always, it's Screen Saga. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.